The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the gravel lot of Ramirez Auto and Cycle, a modest repair shop tucked between a laundromat and a closed pawn shop on the east side of Albuquerque. Inside the open bay, Sarah Ramirez wiped her oil-stained hands on her coveralls, her dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead as she finished torquing the last bolt on a sedan's transmission. Her 7-year-old daughter, Emma, sat at a makeshift desk in the corner doing homework, occasionally glancing up at her mother with quiet admiration. The rumble of a struggling engine broke the evening quiet. Sarah stepped outside to see a weathered Harley-Davidson Road King, coughing and sputtering, as it limped into her lot. The rider, a man in his late 50s, with a silver beard and a worn leather vest bearing the patches of the Iron Brotherhood MC, killed the engine and swung off with a grimace. "Evening," he called out, pulling off his helmet. "Name's Frank Morales. Got a problem with my primary chain tensioner. She's been making noise for the last 50 miles, and now she won't hold idle." Sarah approached, already mentally cataloguing the symptoms. "Let me take a look." She knelt beside the bike, her experienced eyes scanning the primary cover. Within minutes she had it opened, revealing the worn tensioner and a loose adjustment. "You're lucky you stopped when you did. Another 10 miles and you'd have grenaded this whole assembly." Frank nodded grimly. "What's the damage?" Sarah checked her watch. It was already past 6, and she needed to get Emma home for dinner. The parts alone would cost $80, and the labor would push it past $150. She glanced back at her daughter, then at Frank's weathered face, noticing the small veteran pin on his vest collar. "Where you headed?" she asked. "Santa Fe. Brother's wedding tomorrow morning. I'm the best man." His voice carried a mixture of hope and resignation. Sarah made a decision. "Give me 40 minutes. I've got the parts in stock." She paused. "No charge." Frank's eyebrows rose. "Ma'am, I can't let you—" "You served, didn't you?" Sarah gestured to the pin. "My dad was Army. Never made it back from Afghanistan. Consider it a thank you." She was already moving toward her parts shelves, not waiting for argument. Frank stood silent for a moment, then nodded slowly. "I appreciate this more than you know." As Sarah worked, Frank noticed the condition of the shop. The roof had visible water damage in one corner. Several of the bay lights were dark. The concrete floor was cracked and uneven. The tool chest, while well organized, showed decades of hard use. Through the office window, he could see past due notices pinned to a corkboard. Emma approached shyly. "Are you really going to a wedding?" Frank smiled warmly. "Sure am, little one. My brother's marrying his sweetheart after knowing her for 30 years. Sometimes the best things take time." "My mom says we'll fix up the shop someday," Emma said, "when things get better." Frank looked at the child, then back at Sarah working efficiently under the bike, her movements precise and confident, despite the aging equipment around her. "Your mom's a good person, and a fine mechanic." 35 minutes later, Sarah fired up the Harley. The engine purred smoothly, the troublesome rattle completely gone. She ran it through the gears, checked the tension once more, and nodded with satisfaction. "You're good to go. Should make Santa Fe easy." Frank pulled out his wallet. "Please, let me pay you something." Sarah shook her head firmly. "Get to that wedding. Give your brother my congratulations." As Frank mounted his bike, he looked at Sarah seriously. "I won't forget this kindness." He handed her a business card with just a name and phone number. "If you ever need anything at all." Sarah pocketed it politely, already thinking about the bills on her desk. "Ride safe." The Harley's rumble faded into the evening as Frank headed north on I-25. Sarah locked up the shop, holding Emma's hand as they walked to their aging Honda in the back lot. She didn't notice Frank pulling over a mile down the road, taking out his phone and making a series of calls. Chapter 2. The Gathering. The next morning, Sarah arrived at the shop at 7:30 as usual, coffee in hand, and Emma still sleepy in the passenger seat. She planned to catch up on paperwork while Emma watched cartoons in the office. But as she turned onto her street, she slowed, confused by what she saw. The block was lined with motorcycles, dozens of them. Harleys, Indians, Triumphs, and custom builds gleamed in the morning sun. Riders in leather vests stood in clusters, talking quietly. More bikes were arriving, their collective rumble creating a steady thunder that echoed off the buildings. Sarah's heart hammered as she pulled into her lot. A woman in her 40s with kind eyes and an Iron Brotherhood vest approached immediately. "Sarah Ramirez? Yes, what's going on?" "I'm Linda Chavez, Frank's sister-in-law as of last night," she smiled. "Frank told us what you did. How you helped him get to the wedding without taking a dime, even though..." She gestured at the shop's obvious disrepair. "We're here to help." "I don't understand." A tall man with a neatly trimmed beard and a president's patch stepped forward. "Marcus Webb, Iron Brotherhood president. Frank's been riding with us for 20 years. When he put out the call last night, every chapter within 200 miles responded." He gestured broadly. "We've got carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and contractors. We've got materials being delivered in an hour, and we're going to rebuild this place properly." Sarah felt tears threatening. "I can't accept." "You can, and you will," Linda said gently. "That's what we do. We take care of our community. And you took care of one of ours when you didn't have to." Emma pressed against Sarah's leg, eyes wide at the sea of motorcycles and leather-clad figures. Frank appeared through the crowd, now wearing a crisp white shirt instead of his riding gear. "Told you I wouldn't forget." Over the next hour, the organization was military in precision. Marcus assigned roles: a crew for the roof, another for the electrical system, a third for the concrete floor. Women from the club auxiliary set up a food station in the parking lot, grills already heating for the lunch they'd provide the workers. A trailer arrived with lumber, shingles, wiring, and paint. Sarah felt overwhelmed. A woman with a clipboard and a treasurer's patch approached. "Diana Foster, we need you to tell us what else needs fixing that we can't see. Plumbing, HVAC, structural issues." Sarah found herself walking through the shop with Diana and two contractors, pointing out problems she'd lived with for years. The water heater was dying. The air compressor barely worked. The lift system needed complete overhaul. The office walls had mold from old leaks. Her parts inventory system was a disaster of handwritten notes. "We'll handle it," one contractor said simply. He was an older man with a Sons of Silence patch. "My company does commercial renovation. I've got guys who owe me favors." By 9 o'clock, the shop was a hive of purposeful activity, the sound of power tools mixed with the occasional rumble of bikes arriving with more supplies. Tarps went up to protect Sarah's existing equipment. Teams worked in coordinated shifts, the efficiency speaking to years of similar community projects. Emma sat with Linda and other club members' children, eating donuts and watching cartoons on someone's tablet. Sarah tried to work on a customer's car, but kept getting pulled away to approve decisions or answer questions. She felt dizzy with gratitude and disbelief. Frank worked alongside everyone else, despite his dress clothes from the wedding. "My brother and his wife send their regards," he told Sarah during a water break. "They want to meet you sometime. Said anyone who'd help a stranger deserves to be family." "This is too much," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "It's exactly right," Frank replied. "You saw someone in need and helped without thinking about what you'd get back. That's rare, that's worth celebrating." Chapter 3. The Rebuild. By midday, the transformation was remarkable. The old roof shingles were stripped, revealing water damage that made the contractors wince. "Good thing we're doing this now," one said. "Another winter and this whole section would have collapsed." New plywood went up, followed by moisture barrier and architectural shingles that would last 25 years. Inside, electricians rewired the entire shop, installing LED fixtures that flooded the bays with clean, bright light. The cracked concrete was ground down and resurfaced with an epoxy coating that would resist oil and chemicals. New HVAC ducts snaked through the ceiling, connected to an efficient system donated by a club member's HVAC company. Sarah's customer appointments for the day had been rescheduled, but word spread quickly through the neighborhood. Local business owners stopped by, curious about the massive biker presence. A TV news crew arrived, drawn by tips about the unusual community project. Marcus handled the media with practiced ease. "This is what motorcycle clubs do," he told the reporter. "We're not the stereotypes you see in movies. We're veterans, small business owners, teachers, and tradespeople. We take care of our communities." He gestured to Sarah. This woman helped one of ours without expecting anything back. We're just returning the favor. The story would air that evening, showing leather-clad bikers framing walls and installing wiring, the Iron Brotherhood and Sons of Silence patches, visible alongside their skilled work. The reporter interviewed Sarah, who struggled to express her gratitude. "I just fixed a bike," she said. I can't believe this is real." By late afternoon, the scope of the renovation became clear. The shop wasn't just being repaired, it was being upgraded to modern standards. New tool chests arrived, donated by a club member who owned an equipment supply company. A state-of-the-art diagnostic computer system was installed, with a club member's son, an IT specialist, setting it up and providing training materials. The office got new drywall, paint, and a complete digital inventory system. Emma wandered through the transformation, her eyes wide. Linda stayed close, making sure she felt safe among the crowd. "Your mum's pretty special," Linda told her. "She's got a big heart." "She always helps people," Emma said proudly, "even when she's tired." As the sun began to set, the roofing crew finished the last shingle. The concrete epoxy needed overnight to fully cure, so orange cones marked the work zones. The new lighting blazed through the windows, making the shop look almost clinical in its brightness. Frank gathered everyone in the parking lot as the work wound down. "We'll be back tomorrow morning to finish the details," he announced. "But the major work is done." He turned to Sarah. "You've got a completely rebuilt shop. Roof will last 25 years. Electrical is up to current commercial code. Your equipment is modernized and—" He gestured to a covered object near the bay entrance. "One more thing." Two riders pulled off the tarp, revealing a custom-painted sign, "Ramirez Auto and Cycle, expert service, honest work." The design incorporated a subtle motorcycle chain border and Sarah's logo in crisp, professional lettering. Sarah couldn't hold back tears anymore. Emma hugged her leg, and Linda put an arm around her shoulders. "Thank you," Sarah managed. "I don't know how to repay this." "You already did," Marcus said. "You showed kindness when it mattered. That's the currency we value." Chapter 4. The Legacy. 3 months later, Ramirez Auto and Cycle was thriving. The professional appearance and upgraded equipment attracted new customers. The diagnostic system cut repair time significantly. The efficient lighting and HVAC reduced utility bills. Sarah hired an assistant mechanic, a young veteran recommended by Frank, who needed a chance to rebuild his life. The shop became a regular stop for motorcycle clubs passing through Albuquerque. Frank visited monthly, always bringing Emma a book or small gift. The Iron Brotherhood and Sons of Silence made Sarah an honorary member of their community network, connecting her with other small business owners who supported each other. The local news story had gone viral online, generating positive press for motorcycle clubs nationwide and highlighting community service work that often went unnoticed. Marcus reported that their chapters saw increased interest from potential members who wanted to be part of something meaningful. On a cool Saturday morning, Sarah stood outside her shop with Emma, watching the sunrise paint the new roof golden. The business card Frank had given her was now framed and hanging in her office, alongside a photo from the rebuild day showing 400 bikers surrounding her shop. A familiar rumble announced Frank's arrival. He parked and approached, his smile genuine. "Came to see if you'd look at my primary chain again, making that noise." Sarah laughed. "Trying to get free work twice?" "Absolutely not. Paying full price this time, maybe premium rates." His eyes twinkled. "How's business?" "Good, really good." Sarah gestured at the shop. "I keep thinking about that day, how one simple choice to help someone created all this." Frank nodded thoughtfully. "That's the thing about kindness. It multiplies. You helped me without thinking about return. We helped you because that's who we are. Now you're helping Jake get back on his feet." He meant her new assistant. "He'll help someone else someday, it spreads." Emma ran up, backpack ready for the farmer's market they were visiting after this appointment. "Hi, Mr. Frank. Mum says I can get a new book today." "Good deal, little one." Frank ruffled her hair gently. "What are you reading now?" As Emma chatted about her current adventure story, Sarah reflected on how dramatically life had changed. The financial pressure that had kept her awake at night had eased. Her reputation in the community had grown. But more than that, she'd found connection with people she never would have met otherwise, a network of support that extended far beyond motorcycle clubs. The repair work on Frank's bike was minor, just a routine adjustment. As Sarah worked, she thought about her father, the veteran she'd honored by helping Frank. He would have liked these people, she realized, would have appreciated their loyalty, their skill, and their commitment to taking care of their own. When Frank prepared to leave, he handed her an envelope. "Wedding photo. My brother wanted you to have it. Says you're the reason he got his best man there on time." The photo showed Frank in his dress whites, standing beside his brother and new sister-in-law, all of them grinning widely. On the back was written, "Thank you for understanding what matters. The Morales family." Sarah added it to her growing collection of mementos from that extraordinary day. "You know what I learned?" she said. "I always thought asking for help was weakness, but you all taught me it's actually strength. Community is strength." "Exactly right." Frank mounted his bike. "And you're part of ours now. Don't forget it." As the Harley rumbled away, Sarah looked at her shop, her rebuilt, thriving, beautiful shop, and smiled. Emma took her hand and together they locked up, ready for their Saturday adventure. The sign Frank's crew had installed swayed slightly in the morning breeze, catching the light. Inside, the modern equipment hummed quietly. The fresh paint still smelled new. And on the wall, 400 signatures from the bikers who'd rebuilt her business served as a permanent reminder. One act of kindness given freely could transform everything. The story would be told for years in motorcycle clubs across the Southwest. The single mum mechanic who fixed a bike for free and received a rebuilt business in return. But for Sarah, the real gift wasn't the renovation. It was the lesson that community, loyalty, and simple human kindness still mattered in a world that often forgot such things. And every time a motorcycle pulled into her lot, she remembered to see the person first, the problem second, and to lead with generosity, because that's what her father would have done. And that's what Frank and his 400 brothers and sisters had shown her was still possible.